Hey guys, welcome back. So what we have today is something I'm guessing nobody actually saw it coming in this industry. I didn't see it coming, I didn't expect it. No is the company that is doing this has ever done something like that. So I'm going to put a picture in front of you all now. That is what this product was. Have a look at it. So what you see in front of you right now is the NZXT H7 casing. It's a pretty straightforward mid-tower casing that NZXT has introduced, I think, 1 or 2 years back. It's more or less the larger sibling of the NZXT H5 or the H510 that we all know of. But guess what NZXT has done? They've completely flipped the script and brought out a newer design to the casing. What we have here is actually the all-new NZXT H7 Flow. There are a couple of variants available to it. You've got the H7 Flow black and white. You've got the H7 Flow RGB black and white. So the NZXT H7 Flow RGB comes with this new set of fans. This is called the F360 RGB core. So the NZXT H7 Flow RGB, the new one I mean, is completely toolless. You don't need screws for it. So this new variant of the H7 Flow RGB supports up to E80X motherboards. To fit an E80X motherboard, you will have to make one adjustment to the chassis, which is you have to move this vanity panel from its original position to its far right. What I can tell you all that NZXT has actually gave a lot of thought about redesigning the entire chassis. What really strikes a chord with me is that it's a white casing. How many times do we see from other casing manufacturers? You've got a white casing, but you've got black cables, but not NZXT this time. They've actually gone and made sure that most of their cables are white in color. It's a small gesture, but it means a lot to many of us who want to build an all-white build. So this new casing from NZXT has plenty of radiator support. What I mean by that is that you can actually mount a 360 radiator at the top, a 420mm radiator at the front. NZXT doesn't tell you that you can actually mount a 360 radiator at the bottom, but don't worry, I've already done that. There is a way to mount it, and the only caveat when you mount a radiator at the bottom is that it might be hard to actually mount another radiator at the front. So you can only go for top and bottom configuration. If you do custom liquid cooling, perfect. In typical NZXT fashion, the back part of your casing is a cable management bliss. There is plenty of room and also a very intuitive cable management system, which NZXT is famous for, into this casing. If you're into hard drives and SSDs, worry not. You've got two slots up here. You also have a really cute 2.5-inch bay at the bottom here. Of course, this is detachable. You can just release the screw here and it comes off. So if you need that room there for anything, by all means, just remove that. The front portion of the casing, you've got two thumb screws here. Assembly and disassembly of this is fairly simple because you only need the two thumb screws and you gotta make sure it locks in at the bottom properly. However, there's still one thing I really don't quite like, but it's actually a signature look of all NZXT cases. It's this vanity panel. I feel this vanity panel is actually a huge hindrance. That's my personal opinion. It would be nicer if it was flat, but I guess NZXT are making sure it's a little bit raised to ensure that all your 24-pin cables sit perfectly. In typical NZXT fashion, you've got two USB Type A's, one USB Type C, a 3.5mm port, and your on and off button. As you can see, there is plenty of room in this casing, which means only one thing. You can mount an insane amount of fans on it. If you're looking at 120mm fans, you can mount a total of up to 10 fans on this. 3 bottom, 3 top, 3 in the front, and 1 at the rear. What's uniquely interesting about the design of this new casing is the power supply orientation. Traditionally, you mount a power supply horizontally, but on this casing, you mount it vertically. The main reason as to why NZXT has done this is to make sure that the front gets more space and region for you to be able to mount fans at the front. The plus point is one, you've got mounting ports for fans at the bottom. Second good point about it is that the overall width of the casing is much narrower than before. It takes the traditional mid-tower design and makes it in an even more smaller footprint. This is especially evident when you compare this casing to other cases made by different manufacturers. For example, you look at the Corsair 5000D. The 5000D is way wider than this particular casing, but it has almost the same height and depth. If you look at the Lianli PCO, Dynamic Evo, or Dynamic 011, or anything of those aquarium cases basically. Okay? Aquarium cases are generally shorter in height, but they're extremely wide and they take up too much space or footprint on your desk. If you're comparing this to the Lianlis and the Fantecs and all those other aquarium cases, the most unique selling point is basically the footprint and the overall weight. If you're looking at component clearances, you can fit a maximum of 185 millimeters height of any CPU cooler. If you're looking at GPUs, it fits a maximum of up to 410 millimeters. Of course, it also depends if you're mounting a radiator at the front. If you mount a radiator at the front, then I'm guessing it's going to eat up some of the space. But for demonstration purposes, this is a Zotac 4070 Ti. It doesn't really take up much of a space. If you're putting in any of those excessively large GPUs like the Rockstrix or MSI Supreme X, it still fits, don't worry. Here's the thing, if you're looking for something that is not bulky, it's not taking up a large space in your home, the H7 Flow is your choice. If you're worried about components not fitting in your casing, if you're using excessively sized components, the H7 Flow is your choice. If you want something that looks minimalistic yet stunning, the H7 Flow is your choice. Actually, you know what? The H7 Flow is going to be your choice, and it should be your choice. It might be priced at around 500 to 600 ringgit in Malaysia. I think so. Don't quote me on it. I'm just speculating. But I believe it's going to be about the same price as the older design of it. That's about it. See you all in the next one.